Good evening, everyone. It's 4K Skywatching time again.
Red alert!
Happy Friday, everybody. It's October 3rd, 2025. This is episode 38 of 4K Skywatching Podcast. I'm Tom King. I'm your host. This is a Skywatching podcast by Skywatchers for Skywatchers. Probably the only one running out there like it, but there are thousands of people doing this. They just don't put up a weekly channel and a report of what is going on. Last week, I filled in a gap of episode 6 that was missing, which is hooking up IP cameras to different connections, how I hook an IP thermal camera up to a laptop, take it out remotely, and have a color and a thermal camera all in one. So I went into the weeds with that. We're going to get back to regular stuff this week of what is going on in ufology. Some people follow it minute by minute. Some people don't have the time. So I put together a huge assortment of as they say on Spaced Out Radio, what's the word Dave uses? It'll come to me in a minute. But a huge batch of videos that we're going to cover tonight. So yeah, I've been doing a few upgrades here around UFO Lab. The government shut down. Some people that's good, some people that's bad. It depends on where you're at on all that. Messing around with a new little TV there. And got things working a lot better than previously. Let's see, tonight on this show, we have recent captures. In the past, I've kind of packed the show with a lot of how-tos, things I want to kind of get off my chest and get out there that I can look back and see if I need to amend them or put other stuff in them. I did an episode just on what are the flying humanoids, and another one on is there a sphere network out there? If so, they're allowing the flying humanoids to fly around. If you think about it, one of the most seen things around is that we see in ufology over and over are the spheres or white glowing type of objects that you see in the daytime. The flying humanoids are somewhat of a new category, but they're happening repeatedly. So I'm going to have more footage of that. Another one out of the Middle East. So we're going to look at that. We have some night footage of a blue triangle crap that I found. And yeah, I just scrape the internet and look around and see what's valid, what hasn't been played here, and try to source this stuff. So we're not showing bullshit, because in a world with AI, that can be tricky. So yeah, good to stop in here. So yeah, I did a show on different spheres. That was actually one of the most popular um, podcasts that I've done because the book's pretty popular and people are recording these spheres all the time. And you never really know what you're getting here. So you just have to record. If you see it, record the whole thing while you can, and record it until it leaves. Those are the best videos that we have that we can add to the evidence file. If you happen to do that, God, please come forward with your name, put the original audio out there, put it on record so it matters because this all builds up over time and moves the needle a little bit. Yeah, we're going to talk about what's going on in Europe with the drones. I've built a little website on some statistics on that and what's going on with the UAP amendment. And I'm spending myself to the poorhouse by buying gear I really shouldn't be doing. So let's get into the first video. Tonight is from Sarasota, Florida. And let me cue that up. This is a sphere. I don't believe there's any audio on this one. So again, just almost up there, about the same altitude that we see those flying humanoids. And the record day on this was July 1 of 2024. But for some reason, it's just popping up. We might have cases where people all of a sudden, I want to post that, or I see something that triggers them, or maybe it just popped up. That was from Enigma Labs there. Next up that we have is another sphere. This is put together by, this one I just found to tell you, I don't know how valid this is, if this is BS. And in the past episode I did on the Sphere Network, one of the guys who had some of the best footage was from Russia. And this guy was claiming he had this special piece of glass that allows him to see. It was Dicinium glass, if I remember it right. And I actually got a pair of glasses like that. They didn't, the Aura glasses, they didn't seem to do anything. This particular glasses I got were dark red. This guy has just a clear piece of plastic. It's probably bullshit. I did try to contact the guy. I sent him an email in Russian and said I'd like to, just touch base, e-meet, Didn't hear anything back. I haven't checked the site if he's posting more stuff, so I don't know if this is more of the same, but this is from Russia, so let's roll it.
These impressive images were recorded in Moscow, Russia, and show with great clarity a metallic-looking sphere that appears to be levitating above the city. Observe carefully. A group of people was in a tall building, and from that vantage point it was possible to capture the sphere's movements at the same level. In the close-up, its form is seen with complete clarity, a close and sharp sighting of this type of technology, which may have a non-human origin. Belgrade, Serbia, August 18th, 2025. A group of American tourists observed a sphere moving at low altitude over the city in broad daylight. In the closer view recorded by one of the witnesses, it is clearly distinguished as a sphere. When a frame of the footage is frozen and enhanced with artificial intelligence filtering, the object can be appreciated in greater detail. Evidently, it is a sphere, whose origin may not be human. Long Beach, California, June 12, 2025. A person driving through the area managed to record a sphere moving just a few meters away. The driver filmed it without leaving the car until suddenly the sphere made a rapid movement, distancing itself from the location. In slow motion, its presence can be observed in greater detail, especially given how close it was to an inhabited area. It seemed to be watching what was happening there. Tokyo, Japan, July 16, 2025. A metallic-looking sphere was captured with a cell phone. It remained levitating in the same spot, very near a park, visible to the people who were present in the area. When the footage is accelerated, a slight upward and downward motion can be noticed, though without straying from its position. In the close-up, its form is seen clearly. Palmdale, California, June 11, 2025. Stephen Gresson noticed an intense glow in the sky and managed to record with his cell phone a metallic sphere moving slowly.
So that's the reel from Russia. So there is some there. These sphere videos are just piling up. There's compilations going around. I've made one. I've seen other ones going around of and the up and down movement. That first started, I think, in an 80s video that I played here. That might have also been from Russia. This is the one with the trees that goes up and down. And everybody thought, well, that's fake. And that's been floating around for decades. And then later you see other sphere videos that just don't look fake, and you see it going up and down. So the more of these collect, the more we can study how this particular type of object flies. And once you kind of get the movement down, sometimes you can apply that flight characteristics to other videos where they're too far away to make out what it is. Whatever these things are, it could lend more legitimacy to the bugosphere. The whole thing with the bugosphere, by the way, is very strange. If this didn't get in the hands of Jaime Maussan, it might have actually went somewhere. But unfortunately, as long as this guy, is doing what he's doing, no one trusts any of that. And then this could be maybe the smoking gun, but the smoking gun is never going to happen outside of America because of inherent strangeness in this country itself, of not believing really other evidence that comes from another country unless somehow it's validated by us, our spooks, our scientists, and whatnot. It's schizophrenic thinking because we can't even get scientists aside from like Gary Nolan to even look into this stuff. Him, some of the guys at SCU, and very rare to get any scientists to look into it at all. Yet when in South America, they look into it and they X-ray it. You don't even trust them. Then we got the pterodactyl things with 3 fingers and 3 legs. Some of those are real. Some of them are fake, and some of them are real. And if any of them are real, what the fuck? We got people walking around with 3 fingers back then and 3 toes. I mean, this is reptilian shit. Real reptilian type human beings, and there's fossils of them, but it's pretty well ignored. Jesse Michaels he put together a documentary on that. It's the best thing out there towards it. So there's a few things that might already be in the U.S. domain, but we just don't trust them. And then, of course, Jaime Maussan got into the mummies too. And then here comes along Stephen Greer, and it's like, oh shit, the grifter circus arrived. So, yeah, I was hoping that Russian guy would do a follow-up and we could find out, is your Dicinium glass real or bullshit? One thing I don't like about when we watch the local news media in the U.S., they never do follow-ups. Somebody just puts out a line of crap, and no one says, hey, well, I got some follow-up questions or follow-up reports. That's really missing because, investigative journalism in this country died decades ago. Yeah, well, it is what it is. This is kind of an invisible, under-the-ground podcast. I see a lot of them out there. I see podcasts with people with 1 million viewers. Like, how do you have 1 million viewers and you have 3 times more viewers than Jeremy Corbell? And Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp are holding it down. Jesus Christ, are they kicking ass in ufology? They're doing a hell of a job. So let's get back into the flying humanoids. Okay. Oh no, wait. Next up, we're going to move into the blue orb. Now, this blue orb happened this year. It occurred on August 30th, so it's pretty fresh. It was observed for 30 minutes. This was over Clinton, Utah. And the person got a little bit of video. This fits into a very weird, it's just, this thing is unknown. I don't know what it is. Let's take a look.
What is happening?
So that's pretty weird. That had three balls in an equilateral triangle. The first one went missing out of view for some reason. Maybe it was an object of tilt, but then again, there's no frame of reference here. Sometimes that's just all you got to go with. A lot of times, what's good is if a person pans the recording device down and say, "This is the situation." That's what I did when I started the Phoenix Lights thing. As soon as I seen something, I said, "This is the pool. This is the puppy. Here's where we're at. Now let's go look at the situation in front of us." But hey, it's weird. So it's something. So yeah, triangles are another frequently seen object. Huge, large triangles are come in all kinds of sizes. A lot of people say the U.S. is ours because us, U.S., China, they have stealth type triangular objects that fly on conventional thrust. Nothing that hovers that we know of yet. There's the word of this TR3 black manta that's out there. I'm not really a believer or subscriber in that. I've been in this for decades, and I remember before that thing came around, before it was in the lexicon of ufology, it kind of came out in a popular science magazine that came out that a lot of people had. I think it was Jim Goodall or somebody like that. There were a bunch of people that went out and they put out what did they think are the next generation aircraft now that the SR 71 was retiring. Of course, we got something that's got to replace it. What do they think it is? So that was their hypothesis that became real in ufology, some in folklore anyway, just like the hitchhiker effect. There's a bunch of things, tic tacs. There's a bunch of things that just enter um, our UFO, I guess, dictionary and change. I've never seen any evidence of the TR3B, but I haven't looked into it either. So maybe it's a thing. The next thing up is a huge uh, chandelier, and this was recorded 2 days ago from Colombia. I don't know what this is. You know, Colombia is famous for um, just sewing together bags and all kinds of things, and then lighting a fire on it, getting it hot, and then getting it to go up and say, "Woo, that's a thing down there." They do that all over Mexico, down in South America. Some countries do it, but is this one of them? So let's check that out.
Hey, it's getting further away, right? Like higher.
Yeah.
Because just now it was really close by the clouds.
Yeah.
Like it came to drop something. We're in Colombia. Tengo una oficina de There's a bird. If you guys come on my other side, look at that. What the fuck?
hold on. We got something here right now. There's a black object. I don't know what it is. It's flying behind the dome. You see it? I don't belong. There it goes. I'm trying to track it. This is a live undone right now. Going up. The object is completely black. Uh, we got it. Is it playing? Maybe. How if you see some lights? Sorry, but this is what we do here. Let's really reset the image here. It might just be a plane. I'm looking around for it, but I think it lost me. Oh well. What I've been doing is I've been aiming both cameras on the pole. The pole is up all the way right now. We have some wind going, but I'm not worried about wind. This thing can stay up through wind. I'm just worried about like microbursts, Arizona-style tornadoes. And I'll point one dome camera here and then another one, and then that way if something goes by, it should show up on both cameras. Anyway, hell, if something comes in and distracts us, we're gonna go for it. Let's re-roll the Colombian footage from the start.
Hey, it's getting further away, right? Like higher.
Yeah.
Because just now it was really close by the clouds.
Yeah.
Like it came to drop something. We're in Colombia. Tengo una oficina de There's a bird. If you guys come on my other side, look at that. What the fuck?
How many fucking lights around?
I don't know. Too many. We can count them after. What the fuck? And it's spinning. Right?
Let's see where.
Glenn, come look. Are these drones?
I don't think so. Our drones. Yeah.
What the fuck? Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, there's a Starlink on the water. Oh, is that what that is then? Jesus, fuck. And you know what? The college of people. Oh, it's a lot. Starlink is a lot. Look at this. I thought it was just one. Or like, oh.
So that was pretty weird. Most of the balloon ones they put up are in the daytime, though. Sometimes at night. The dead giveaway is the center, is the fuel source that keeps it up. So that looked like it had something of fire there. I don't know what the hell they were doing with all those lights. Like, was that LED? What do you guys think? Was that LED lights on just some like? Because there's some size to that. That thing probably had to be, the size of a two-car garage. There's a lot of pixels. Each one of those lights going gives some type of size. So I don't know. I'm going with weird. Columbia has, what's messed up about Columbia is they launch so many of those dang balloons that when a disc comes flying by and they tape it, a lot of people just ain't going to believe it because the UFO kind of cried wolf with this kind of stuff all the time launching in the sky. But hey, it's interesting. It's fun to look at. One thing we had something like that going around for a long time in the U.S., around the whole world. What looked like a big saucer that had, it always came out at night. And I've seen it. I got video of it. We chased this thing down. It looked huge. It was like, oh, there's a 150-foot round disc flying over Phoenix. So I had my wife Rhonda chase this thing down, and I was filming it. And then we got close enough we could read that the rim of it going around had a band around there, and it was a virgin light blend. And then I seen this all over these different documentaries from the 90s, like Voyagers of the Stars, the Lee Elders show, a whole bunch of these. They didn't know what it was, but when you get close enough to it, you see, that's an earthly explanation. But when you're too far away, you think, Jesus, there's a UFO flying over town. This thing is, I think it's designed this way on purpose to so they're mistaken for that. So that was that one. Let's get into the Flying Humanoid. Now, this one, I believe, comes out of the UK. It's much like the one I filmed. It's square shaped. Let's just roll it.
No lights on it, is it? Might be a helicopter. You see the lights.
So far, it's doing nothing that a balloon wouldn't be doing because it's very consistently floating away. It also looks a bit like a UFO. No. Again, is it my imagination or is it actually getting higher? I can try zooming into it when I have it on Premiere.
Just change course.
What was saying? It's not doing anything overtly uncharacteristic. Yeah, it probably is a UFO.
In a straight line.
It probably is a UFO.
Well, it is because we don't know what it is.
Man, absolutely great job with the cameraman recording that. Recorded it until the end. They held it steady. It was easy to stabilize. So here's stabilization version for the people on Rusted Satellite. Shout out to those people on the Reddit, Rusted Satellite. They track all this stuff. I didn't see it on there yet. Go ahead and add this.
No lights on it, is it? Might be a helicopter. You see the lights.
So far, it's doing nothing that a balloon wouldn't be doing because it's very consistently floating away. It also looks a bit like a UFO. No. Again, is it my imagination or is it actually getting higher? I can try zooming into it when I have it on Premiere.
Just change course.
What was saying? It's not doing anything overtly uncharacteristic. Yeah, it probably is a UFO.
In a straight line.
It probably is a UFO.
Well, it is because we don't know what it is.
So that was a stabilization version of that object. Another one to add to the collection. I think what I'll do is make a website, and we'll have that on a future episode of 4K Skywatcher. We'll have a website page that tracks this stuff, so it'll be real nice in it, and it'll be one that you can make on, or you can view easily on your phone. Now let's take a look at this zoomed in. There's some little details sticking out the side.
No lights on it, is it? Might be a helicopter. You see the lights.
So far, it's doing nothing that a balloon wouldn't be doing because it's very consistently floating away. It also looks a bit like a UFO. No. Again, is it my imagination or is it actually getting higher? I can try zooming into it when I have it on Premiere Pro. We're saying, not doing anything overtly uncharacteristic. Yeah, it probably is a UFO. It probably is a UFO.
Just great job recording that. If you record something like this, what I would suggest is do your neighbors, you can get more footage of it. Did you have like ring phones on your house? Does your neighbor have ring phones? That's the UK, right? So we know there's like 1,000 different camera views of that from MI5 can look at this. MI5 could look at this if they, they're like the FBI of UK. They get cameras all over the damn place. You can't even have your dog take a shit without MI5 going, your dog took a crap, they'll give you a fine if you don't pick it up. So they can look at this, where it comes from, where it goes to. But what's cool is it keeps happening. It's always like almost the same altitude. It's always going in a straight freaking line most of the time. They're black. It looks like death coming or something. But it's cool that we're getting more videos. These things have been around before. I don't know why, but for some reason, lately, everyone's filming them. Everyone thinks they're balloons. They probably are. But it's weird because I've seen a lot of stuff. I've been skywatching for a couple of decades, but going on 2, 3. And we didn't see shit like that back in the 80s, 90s, 2000s. If we did, it was rare. People referred to them as flying humanoids or witches. There's 1 or 2 videos of these actually where they're white. More evidence of this is the Black Vault posted some FOIA responses of the flying humanoids. There was one, I think, that was from LA where they were saying, I don't think this is a person with a backpack. But they are human size. The thing to look is, are they leaning forward? Because that shows that they're using some type of conventional thrust. There's another one I saw on the Black Vault. I was talking about a pilot reported seeing just a couple of these for a couple seconds in Tucson. So it's up at airline level. So they are, eventually someone's going to hit one of these things. But let's just say they're balloons. Who in the hell is making these human-sized black trash-looking things, filling them up with, I guess, helium? You're saying go, and they always fly the same. They get up to, they don't like, because when you watch balloons go up, they go up until they find like an equilibrium with the amount of helium they have in them versus where they are in the altitude of the sky. And then they kind of level off, and they move with the wind, but they usually just don't go on a straight line. Even the grocery bags that we film, they don't go on a straight, dead-ass line like that. They kind of just mingle around, they're slow, but this thing's always on an A to B trajectory. Weird. So we got a chance that there'll be more, in the future episodes of 4K Skywatching, there'll be more footage of this, shot by other people. But one of the top places that is where we're getting footage is from the Middle East. Here's one shot at night, and at night they're hella creepy. This one's hard to see, so I looped it 3 times, and then we're going to invert it a little bit. Let's look at this Saudi piece that was recently uncovered. This is inverted. The object's human size. It's flying about 100 feet in the air. It fits the exact same profile as the Ghoul that was flying over Iraq. It was filmed a couple of times. Wish it was a longer clip though, but so there you go. Two different flying humanoid videos, the same type of speed. They're always going. You never see them reverse direction, hardly at all. More of the spear videos. So those are the things that are out there to be shot. So if you shoot them, shoot it until they leave. Try and hold it in landscape and not portrait if possible. And then when you're done, make an observation of who was around that saw it with you. And again, are there other cameras or there are other collection devices around that could help out? This next one, um, this one I'm trying to hunt down. I'm not sure where this came from. This is a NASA clip. What we're going to look at is an object in space. It flies exactly like one of the videos that I recorded a couple of years ago. I was showing it on the Chris Lettle podcast where this object comes down. Wasn't really paying attention to it. All of a sudden, I saw it on the camera. I zoomed in. I changed the resolution a little bit darker so I could see it easier, and then it took off like a bat out of hell, just like this video. Pay attention to the object circled there. Can't tell how big it is or how far away it is, but we were all taught as kids that when something in space gets pushed in one direction, it keeps going in that direction, unless it has the propulsion to change the direction. Perhaps a reverse image search could find out where this came from. Looks like the International Space Station. It'd be good to get this directly from NASA. NASA's always saying, we're looking for life. Well, look at your own goddamn videotapes, for fuck's sake. It's on your own equipment. So it hovers, it takes off, and it leaves. And it looks like it was shot away at thousands and thousands of miles an hour. All right, looks like the stream has stabilized and it's come back up. Art Bell got jockeyed around and stuff like that quite often. He would have some call around or something. A lot of times Art Bell would be talking about Area 51 and the whole radio stream would be cut. There's a number of times that happened with him. But yeah, I don't think NSA controls my router here, but that kind of sucks. Okay, so that wraps up what's recently captured, and this was a collection from all over the internet of some of the best stuff I could find. There's a whole lot of other stuff I've seen, but didn't really look too convincing. But you know how YouTube and Google filter everything out. We're in the we're in the middle of a new drone invasion that is going on in Europe right now. It's pretty much unfolding nightly. I have a website here I want to show you of recently what's going on. This happened last night in Munich. So let me get everything prepped up here. And let's take a look at some stats here. This first started around September 22nd, 2025 over Oslo, Norway. this has affected these airports. There's 5 major airports that have been disrupted so far. Uh, Russia is the most likely suspect here. Over 30,000 people were affected by sitting in those aluminum tubes and getting stuck and having their flights delayed and whatnot. Um, then we had more airports messed with at Aalborg and Billund airports in Denmark. We also had Copenhagen was closed for 4 hours. Recently, Munich, they were closed for 7 hours overnight, full. 17 flights were canceled. 15 arriving were diverted. Now, um, the guy who's everyone believes is paid by the government to talk shit about this, Mick West, says pretty much the same talking points that Arrow does, that there's no there here at all. This is mass hallucination. Nothing is happening. That there are no drones. Uh, People are reporting drones and the airport's freaking out. That's the bullshit that the debunkers are spinning. But then we have like security people, heads of some of these European countries coming out and saying this has affected people. There's 30,000 people this was affected. At least 17 flights were messed with last night, and it wasn't over bullshit. It wasn't over a fantasy or whatnot. Something is going on with this. I'm stuck here in Arizona, but I've pondered, why don't they fly over where I'm at, right? Why don't they? Because I'm thinking if they fly over here, I'm going to have this fully documented. We're going to have recordings of the flight radar, ADS-B exchange. Um, I can tell the difference between the drone and something weird. Now, this goes back, a lot of what we see in ufology is a repeat of something that has already taken place. Let's look at somebody who's been hunting these for a while. So there's a person that I tried to see if he would even come on this podcast. I couldn't even get an email back from him. That's recorded these drones 400 times in New Jersey. Got a YouTube channel full of these drones. And I'm looking at this thinking, what is your best video? What video here do you have that shows that this is not just a regular aircraft? This is something out of the ordinary. Okay? Now, Bruce Cornett got something like that. This was known, and it's in a small subcategory of ufology, just like the flying humanoids are, of what's called fake planes. In fake plane category is a lot of ufologists, well, hell, most ufologists don't even leave their damn house, right? They research over the phone or the computer. But there's these things called fake planes that's been going on for a while. There is, I remember in Texas, there's a guy who was tracking these fake planes. And what these are is UFOs or UAP that are mimicking our aircraft. They look like our aircraft, but they don't sound exactly like our aircraft. So when we watch a video of this, we just go, come on, dude. That's just a plane flying over. You're a dumbass. Can't you tell the difference between a plane and a UFO? Because you can't really figure it out with a camera. You have to break it down like Bruce Cornett did. He filmed this thing I'm going to show you now. It's been out for a while, but it's called a manta ray. And he was hunting this over the Hudson Valley area. And these fake planes apparently don't have the proper Doppler effect of the sound. They are putting out some kind of acoustic sound that sounds like an airplane, but it's not. Let's take a look into some old research that Bruce did that touches upon what's going on right now.
Okay, we got a plane or a set of lights coming from the northwest to the southeast, and it's moving real fast. Whatever this is in the flashing is very... This is a conventional jet. It's got a strange set of strobes on it around the central midline as well as on the wingtips. It's different. Why is it so different? Whoa. Just turned on searchlights. What the hell?
Searchlight?
Yeah, pointing down. That's the damn manta ray. That's the configuration of the manta ray. Making a jet-like sound. Holy shit.
Triangular type shape?
The diamond shape. You won't believe what this damn thing did when it flew over me.
What did it do?
It turned on its outer lights, searchlights on the wing, out where the wings would be, and pointed them down at me. Sounds like a jet.
That thing didn't look nearly as weird as the other one, Bruce.
No, this is not as weird. I'm going to zoom out. It seems to be going in a direction towards Stewart. Whatever this thing is. This is probably just conventional, and it's, just might have some strange lights on it. But, when those outer lights brightened, they produced beams. And the beams were pointing down at first and then tilted and rotated forward. The conventional plane does not do that.
That was video brought to us thanks by Dr. Bruce Cornett, who did a lot of research of this in the Hudson Valley area. One thing that he was pointing out that it's hard to see in the video is the barrel rolls that these aircraft were doing. He was recording aircraft that looked like they're coming in for a landing, but they would flip like this, right? And you go, well, that's no passenger jet because you just flipped the damn thing upside down when you saw it. So it takes an expert skywatcher to look at this stuff. So what's going on in Europe is kind of scary because we have the Ukraine war going on with Russia, and the leading theory is these are Russian drones. And, Putin's talked about it and just kind of joked about it, but I don't think he's got the resources for that. He's letting people out of prison go fight his war, and he's got old tanks, and he's, we were told Russia was a superpower. Now we're looking at, I think the weapons in Arkansas and Tennessee alone could kick their ass. I'm sure the firepower we have in Texas is more fucking powerful than all of Russia. So they just don't have the resources to have drones go fuck around Munich and Copenhagen and Oslo and Denmark just to kick the tires, right? And to see, well, who might be doing this? So they're the number one suspects of this, but this is strange triangulation because geopolitically, everyone kind of is not. Everyone hates Russia for what's going on, pretty much for this war, and I just don't think they have resources to do this. So these drones, or whatever they are recorded by the airports. They're recorded by the parking lots in airports, all the traffic cams around these airports, all high-rise buildings, anything within 5 miles of all of these airports is getting taped. But are they fake planes? The place that I saw in Texas, there's a website I looked at years ago. This guy was documenting this. These looked like aircraft, but he was filming them going over treetops. Why do you have what looks clearly like a Airbus type aircraft flying over treetop level? Because it just doesn't happen. The only time you ever see a plane like that is when it's taking off from an airport and they have a certain pitch that they're going up, or when they're coming in for a landing and they have a certain pitch there too. Airbuses don't like come from LA, fly to New York at 500 damn feet. You know, anytime you see these aircraft, there's an airport around, it's taking off or landing if it's legit. If it's not, it's a fake plane. So that's in the UFO lexicon, but you really just don't hear that in a lot of podcasts because they don't deep dive into that. Now, something like this has been messed with in the past, and we'll see if there's any response like what happened in the 1990s. In the 1990s, something like this happened too. We didn't have like that war going on over in the East, but they had something that was messing with the Belgium, and it got to the point they had to address it, and they sent aircraft after it, and they intercepted whatever this triangular craft is. They released radar. So we'll look at this clip. It has the radar, and on this radar, and when I talk about radar, people really don't know what in the hell they are looking at. You have to be a trained observer to know what you're looking at on radar at all. You have to be trained in this. Otherwise, you're just looking at stuff on the screen. When we watch a movie, it'll label UFO and the altitude and all that. It just doesn't work that way. So they went to intercept this. The object went from 100 miles an hour to 900 miles an hour instantaneously on radar.
Perhaps the most convincing evidence for UFOs can be found in Brussels, of all places. For a period of about 2 years, the whole country was affected by a wave of sightings. They'd been seen by witnesses, the police, and by local radar stations. The Belgian army was forced to take the claims seriously. They allowed their F-16 fighter aircraft to be involved in trying to intercept these UFOs. They had the full backing of the chief of the Belgian Air Staff, Colonel de Brouwer.
Initially, we thought that some of these observations were caused by atmospheric interference, such as weather conditions or electromagnetic interference. But later on, we found out that at certain moments, indeed, we could relate one visual observation with one observation on the radar. And of course, then we said, well, to have a confirmation, it may be very useful to have an additional observation from an aircraft.
The aircraft were deployed as part of a routine training program. Most times nothing was seen, except on one particular night.
The night of 30 and 31st March, we had an observation on the radar, and in addition, a visual observation on the ground confirmed by the police. We decided to send 2 airplanes in the air around midnight.
This video of the F-16's radar track of the object showed the performance of a vehicle of a totally unknown origin. The Air Force were at a complete loss to explain their findings. A press conference was called.
What these pilots detected was well outside the normal flying envelope of an airplane. Sometimes they had what we call lock-ons, which gave a parameters varying from speeds between 150 knots till 990 knots. An acceleration which occurred in a few seconds.
The Americans denied it was a secret spy plane, so could it have been the first official contact with an alien craft?
These speeds would be impossible to tolerate for a human being. That's a first point. A second point is the visual observations always describe a system, a machine, which hangs and hovers above the surface at quite a low altitude without making any noise. Now, with the current technology, that would be impossible.
So far, the Belgian authorities have refused to announce any official conclusion to subsequent investigations. Could it be the aurora? Is it likely a UFO could have come from a faraway galaxy? After all, it took us 3 days just to get to the moon.
So there you have a flashback from 1990 when one object was repeatedly coming back, doing something like this, and they sent up planes to intercept. I would expect decades later some type of similar response. Now, I don't know if in Europe if they have FOIA like we do, where you can request all tower records and whatnot, because these have to show up on radar. Just think about it. If these have to show up on military radar, right? And probably regular radar. If they turned off if they have a transponder on, it's going to show up in the ADSB exchange. So you can track them. You can track where they come from, where they go. Where's this goddamn data? Everybody's going nuts. Like, why isn't this solved? This lingers on and on and on. This is like somebody drowning, and no one ever throws them a life preserver. They just say, "Hey, someone's drowning," and never stops. Over and over and over and over and over. Just, somebody do something. So if they don't have transponders, then the military should be able to track them, right? Or then we have NORAD, right? Well, I always hear NORAD tracks the whole planet, and somehow they can see golf balls size stuff flying around 5,000 miles an hour. So somebody knows what is going on here, but everybody's just tight-lipped about it. I don't know if this was conventional in Russia, why don't they just come out and say, look, it's Russia, stop. I mean, the other countries are going to just talk to how it is. In this country, Putin is treated nicely by the president, but that might not happen over in Europe. So it is weird. It's getting weirder. If this continues, I don't know. Get more information, but it's confusing. It looks like fake planes. Now, if they are fake planes and we can get really good documentation, that's a whole nother story. UFOs are faking planes. If you can fake an aircraft, it's like a hologram or something. Where's the limitations of that technology in? It doesn't. I was looking, before I spent myself in the poorhouse getting PBS 7, I was looking at this other cool thing to add in the UFO lab. It's like, it's not a hologram. It's like a hologram. It's this size. It's round and plexiglass. And what's inside is a volumetric television that's in 3D. So you can design things in 3D and it'll show up in this volumetric thing. And it's like some type of, it's not a hologram technically, but it's like a hologram. So you could design stuff and it'll show up in there. You could play videos in there. You could put, say, you put Taylor Swift's head in there and have it rotating. You could have a robot walking around with this thing on. You could have a head that changes. That's freaking cool, but it costs $5,000 for the damn thing. Now, if it was like, $100, everybody would have one of these. But just that type of technology, just imagine what they have if they're faking stuff. So hopefully, if this keeps happening, there's more documentation of what's going on with that. And wait a minute, something in here. Just a sec. Let's switch over my camera for a sec while I fix this. All right, here we go. So that leads us to the UAP amendment that's coming up. It looks like the whole thing with the UAP amendment, the Schumer amendment, wasn't included in the Senate draft of the NDAA. It wasn't included into the House. So that wasn't included on any of the language. The government shut down. They're not arguing over none of this. Seems like hardly anybody cares. This is the third time that this has been shut down. A lot of people can't stand Schumer because he's nobody's favorite politician at all, but at least he brings his crap up, right? So once this guy, well, I guess they'd have to drag his corpse out of Congress because no one retires anymore. Everybody dies in office. So this guy might bring it up in 2026. I guess you got to play the long game here and keep bringing it over and over and over until the damn thing passes. Now, if this passes, does anything, what does that help? Well, you listen to the last Weaponized that came out. I think it was Dylan Borderline. He was at the congressional hearings. He talked and told everything that he knew to George Knapp and Jeremy Corbell. And man, I got to tell you, George really knows how to interview stuff. Like when he would ask him a question, that's the question I want to hear as a viewer. And then Corbell, he's still learning, but he doesn't have the 100 years of experience that George Knapp does interviewing people. Corbell, well, how did it feel? I don't want to hear about the feelings. I want the goddamn data as much as you can in a couple hours that he was talking. Nothing really new came out of Dylan. He talked a lot like Matthew Brown. Dylan was one of the most paranoid interviews I've ever seen from somebody. He's absolutely scared. He looks like what he had to do is his job as a drone operator and ending lives of hundreds and hundreds of, I guess, enemy people, maybe even to the thousands. It has to drag upon the conscience of anybody who has a soul. That maybe one of those was a mistake. You don't know. You don't know. Everybody second guesses stuff. So I hope that this guy gets some help because he really has PTSD. But he looks like a reluctant whistleblower. And a lot of these guys aren't whistleblowers because they go through the DOPSR process, which is kind of like permission to go on a podcast and tell stuff. A real whistleblower is just going to do what Snowden does and say, you know what, fuck it. Here's how the name of the programs. I'm burning this shit to the ground. Now, him and Matt, they sound like they didn't want to be whistleblowers at all. They lost their security clearance, so they no longer can work inside organizations we all pay for that don't exist. And what's scary is the piss poor pay that they're paying these people. Sounds like I make two or three times what they're paying Matthew. It sounds like he was working in these programs that paid him such a low pay that he could qualify for fucking food stamps. And they expect them to keep a secret. So that's really weird what's going on. It seems like him and Matt would still be in the program if they didn't lose their security clearances, to tell you the truth. That kind of sucks because there's tons of people that are just fine with it. They're going to retire, live in a gated community, just drink themselves every night going, I know about the aliens and the UAP, but I can't say shit. But you know what? That's kind of not happening because the boomer generation, they're taking this shit to their grave. Those people that worked in these programs that are retired out, that are in 70s and 80s and 90s, there's no dead man switch with these people. There's no deathbed confessions coming. There's no I made a tape and I gave it to George Knapp and it's playable on death. These fuckers, their pension checks are more important than just telling us what the hell is out there. But the new generation of whistleblowers, the millennials, they don't play that shit. They're going to, do this. They're going to have that dead man switch. So hats off to this new generation. That's a whole different breed. But this has been going on for a long time. I wonder that is this even worth it to a degree? Because this are they making any progress at all, to tell you the truth? Now, which leads me in this section. I was, like I said, I was listening to some old stuff with Bob Dean. Bob Dean is late. Bob Dean, he's died a few years ago. But if you're new to ufology, which it seems like thousands of podcasters are, they don't know anything about this guy. This guy mentioned that there was a UFO so big that they had to bury it. And I was listening to old podcasts or radio interviews where podcasts came along. And I was seeing if he happened to drop the country he was in. And I'm listening to him, and he's talking a lot about the same stuff um, that we're hearing now. That this whistleblower stuff just doesn't seem to end. So let me dig this up here and find out what happened to my Bob Dean file. I just copied and pasted that somewhere else. All right, let me, I think I found it here because this ties in with what we're doing. So let's go ahead and play Bob Dean a little bit. He was talking about same thing.
There are a lot of people like yourself, Bob, with tremendous backgrounds in the military and in science who know about this, who have firsthand knowledge, but who are very much afraid of coming forward with it for obvious reasons.
And that didn't work. Let me read this.
There are a lot of people like yourself, Bob, with tremendous backgrounds in the military and in science who know about this, who have firsthand knowledge, but who are very much afraid of coming forward with.
I'm going to skip on that for the next time. What Bob Dean was talking about was there was a guy in New Mexico, and his name was Schiff, and he was trying to bring about the truth with the Roswell files, and I believe he died. He was like just like we have now with Pauline and Luna and all that. There's a lot of podcasts that follow every tweet she does, everything that Tim Burchett does, uh, and they report on the fucking minutia. If these people tie their shoes wrong, it's on a podcast for fuck's sakes. But they're asking for all this stuff, and Schiff did that too. He died a year later of skin cancer, right? So anyway, all these podcasts that get into all that stuff, you wasted your fucking time because this is show. They got done exactly what they wanted to. The point was to say we're fighting. We don't. I'm in the government. But I don't trust the government. We're fighting, I guess, our own administration for the truth, and they don't even get it. They put on these little shows. They say, shit, we don't know what's going on. Let's get George Knapp in here. Let's get some whistleblowers in here. Let's get people to screw over their livelihood to come in here. Instead of calling Pete Hegsworth, instead of saying Trump released the shit, they do this political theater crap, and they get these other people to ruin their security clearances and their lives. And it's a freaking waste of time messing with this because Bob Dean was talking about the same thing. They can go to jail for 10 years. You'll lose your pension. You'll lose your benefits. You won't have your stuff with the VA. You're completely screwed. So they're screwed financially. But I don't think any of them would get thrown in jail. I think if Lou Elizondo came out and just started saying, here's the triangular craft video comes out, see, here's the year, here's the name of the pilot, here's everything. Come arrest me. Come get me, bro. They're not going to fucking throw him in jail, because if they did, it would just prove everything he said. So it's messed up that they can go on podcasts and walk in eggshells around this. They could just come out and just let it rip. You know, Bob Dean didn't. You never heard Bob Dean say, I can't say that, the precious NDA. He never said it. He just came out and said, here's everything that he read in that goddamn book, whether you believe him or not. He didn't go to DOP, sir. He didn't do any of that stuff. So these guys doing political theater, and all these podcasts are doing it, are just scraping the bottom of the barrel for shit to talk about. Well, it's all theater to me. You want to do something, get up off your ass, go get some gear, do something about this instead of waiting for someone else to do it, waiting for another whistleblower to get out there and do something. This is a channel where we do stuff. So let me get cue the end part here. I'll get that Bob Dean maybe working on another one. All right, so coming up, I haven't seen Dan here in the chat. Yeah, that thing was a plane. It looked like a plane, but was it, or was it a fake plane? Yeah, a lot of people don't know that when you take off, the air quality has a lot to do with whether you can take off. Different cities, like taking off a plane and Denver is different than taking off a plane here above the ground. I didn't know that till my friend was going into getting his pilot's license. He had a Cessna, and he was just doing circles around Arizona until he had his hours. When he got close to 10,000, he got hired for a commercial place. Remember that jet or that prop plane about 3 years ago on the news? Um, the co-pilot jumped out of the plane and committed suicide. And then the pilot said, "Hey, I just lost. Hey, ATC, I just lost my co-pilot. He jumped out of the plane." Oh, excuse me. Said he jumped out of the plane. Jumped out of the plane, was coming in for a landing, committed suicide. So the guy I know, when that plane came in for a landing. Well, what happens? The co-pilot went to land the plane. He screwed up. He bounced the plane, and the plane bounced, and it lost one of its wheels. And he's like, "Oh shit! I just screwed my career up." So he just jumped out of the fucking plane, killed himself. The other pilot made emergency landing at one wheel. They fixed that plane. My friend got hired to go fly that plane. And I'm like, "Damn, man, that's the Shining shit. That's Amityville. Don't freaking go into a plane that has bad energy around it." And speaking of that, uh, next week, Dan, Easy Motherload. Oh, there he is. We're supposed to be doing a chopper trip. So it'll be. The only time I flew in a helicopter was around Kauai. We went around the mountains. I can't remember the name of the damn mountains, but there's no beach, so we flew around. It was awesome. I was like the Joker, a smile on my face that you couldn't wipe off. We have a new. Dan's doing a new Skywatch. Dan was just up at Sedona. Was it yesterday? And he went up to the Bradshaw Ranch and sent us videos he shot up there. He's also flown over the Bradshaw Ranch about a month ago in a helicopter. And coming up is another helicopter trip, and I'll be there, I'm pretty sure. And here's some new gear. I probably should have waited, but what I went and got is a PBS7 here. And what I did was get it ready for field operations. So let me show you what I did. I made a tripod mount for it. It cost me about $1.75, which is good since this thing was many Benjamins, right? So what this is it's a clamp that goes around the front, and it clamps it. It comes with a tripod mount, which is pretty thick. And then I machined a knob there, cut out a piece here, painted it green because when we go on Skywatch, it's going to be pitch black, so I want something that is easy to find. Also put a tripod mount here for a quick release. Now, the next thing we need to record. So, probably should, I have, so the thing is you're going to be recording in the eyepiece, right? So, could use this camera. I've been using, I have 3 of these cameras and gave one away. This is not a 4K camera, but it's HD. It's only like $200, so it's damn near disposable. And I used one of these on the Tank night vision device. You've seen it's 3D printed. So there's that. The other possibility is this GH5S cinema camera with a what the hell is this? A macro lens, and then mounting it up to that, and then I'll have to just find out where the mount plate needs to be bolted. So that will almost get the little night vision circle up. So the goal is to get this full screen here instead of just a small circle. So what I tried is this thing, and this thing is pretty cool. This is just came on the market a couple of days ago. This is the GoPro 360 camera, so it has a lens on both sides. Each side films in 4K. So what happens is, this is just freaking amazing. I'll probably never film a UFO with this, to tell the truth. This will be like a production camera for second unit and be rolling and shit like that. So I was thinking, well, just put it up right there. And Okay, that worked, but this thing is so fisheye that it has a small circle. And I want, because when you look through it with your eyes, it takes up your whole peripheral vision. You don't see a couple of small tubes. So I'm trying to get a good 4K solution for this, but that credit card bill comes on 17. I don't know how the hell I'm going to pay it. I eat top ramen a lot, so I don't go out to eat much. So there's another system I found that has a ring with a 4K camera, and you just slide it over here. It's got a USB card inside of it. So you just provide power to it, and it automatically records. That's another thing, but that's a month or so out. So the money tree or whatever the hell brings in more money. So I'm tapped out. But let's see, this won't be going on the helicopter. Maybe this. I'm thinking, Dan, we could put this on the bottom of the helicopter. It'll record both sides. When you watch a video with this, it's just freaking unreal. I've never had one of these 360 cameras. So what happens is the camera itself becomes invisible. These are the ones that you put on a stick. And you can't see how the hell they filmed it. And then when you do playback, you can take your phone or whatever, and you can look anywhere, right? Around, so you can put one of these and have two people do a conversation, and then it'll record the whole conversation. You can just edit back and forth. So it's a good camera to use in 4K production. So we'll probably keep that around. That just came out. There's some plugins I haven't installed yet for DaVinci Studio. That's one of the editing pieces of software. Clyde Christopher, who will probably film the helicopter trip with B-roll and stuff like this, he has something, I think, renewed. He was telling me he put out like 20 episodes that are on Tubi. They're on Apple TV. Dan's in them, Chris is in them, I'm in them, Clyde's in them, and that's our art group, which is the Arizona Recon, Record, and Reconnaissance team. And we go out all over the place. We spend more money skywatching than most TV shows do that they come in. Probably the amount of money that Netflix paid to bring in George and all those people, we spend about that every month or two skywatching and doing this type of research that we bring you guys. So hit that like button. It's free. Subscribe. That don't cost nothing. If you want to support the channel and kick in a few bucks for the gas, there's a join thing below. It costs $3 a month. There's extra videos, and sometimes I do skywatches just for members. So that's coming up. So the helicopter trip will be coming up. If I don't know if we're going to use this, because these things are notorious for overheating. It has I've been tested about a 1 hour limit, but this will film every direction that the helicopter goes in. So maybe on the bottom or inside or out on a selfie stick. I'm not going to tell you where we're going yet because I want to keep the location clean. Some other things I just want to say that I watch what is going on the UFODAP Discord. So there's a whole group of people that have these UFODAP devices all over the world. There's probably about 100 of them. Then we have, I also watch the Sky Hub 360 Discord. That's where all the nerds get together and have our powwow. So there's stuff going on there. And then also Mike Basta started his own YouTube channel. He's got his own psionic asset Discord. And that thing blew up. There's hundreds of people on there. So much information, I just can't keep track of it. So people think, well, there's nothing going on, ufology. Yeah, the UAP amendment is fucking dead. It didn't exist anyway, right? So we can't bitch about what we don't have. Bob Dean's been talking about for 30 years. Someday it'll happen, but it won't make any difference. There's people behind the scenes working hard all the time, whether you see it or not. Thousands of skywatchers are out there doing stuff. These UAP fake planes are hitting airports, right? There's whistleblowers coming out all the time. This is the most exciting time in ufology that you could have, because we're on a planet that's coming out. The planet officially says there's no life out there. We haven't detected anything intelligent. But at some point, we're going to cross that Overton window, and we're going to pull everybody that's accepted that there's somebody out there There's another intelligence on this planet. It's only going to happen once. And you look up at those trillions of stars, and this happens to each planet one by one by one, eventually. And someday kids will grow up like the kids growing up now. They'll probably never, a baby born today will probably never drive a car, be self-driving. If they even have cars driving, might be flying by then. AI will be accepted. They won't know what analog stuff is at all. They will probably grow up in a post-disclosure world where everybody accepts NHI. And they'll have to look back at podcasts like this or other ones going, what was it like growing up with a fucking ignorant planet with 8 billion people who didn't believe what was in front of them the whole time? I'm Tom King. This is 4K Skywatching episode 38. Thanks for watching. Uh, Again, you can join the channel, subscribe. It won't break the bank. It helps me out a little bit. I appreciate all the people watching. Thanks for stopping in. And man, it's probably 3 o'clock in the morning for Gobstopper. Thank you for watching from the UK. Dan, we'll be talking soon. Okay. Texas Roadhouse. Yeah, that'll break the bank. I'm Cole. I've seen you around. Thanks for stopping in the podcast. T Fox is here. T Fox, email me, buddy. You have a PVS 14. I'm getting to know a lot of you guys and a lot of your gear. So let's chit chat about it. Do you have a recording device? If you want a ring, I got more of those. I'll mail you one. So let's roll the credits, and then after that's going to be a time lapse. I have the dome all the way up, six pegs. And I shot a time lapse last night looking north. So if there's any drones coming, you'll see them. You'll see, because everything you're going to watch in the outro is just going to be normal air traffic. But if it does come, man, I'm going to film you. I'm going to film you. Hold on, I got to check something out. From the, maybe it's just nothing. What is that thing? All right. What is this thing? Yeah, okay. What the fuck is that? See, there's lag in this damn camera. As it happens, we got too many cameras. But yeah, this thing's above all trees. And you know, with the government shut down, hell, that radar shit, baby. All right, we'll see you guys on episode 39. Thanks for watching. Tom King, I'm out.